the most popular genre on the world's most popular adult site. For the fourth year in a row, hentai has remained the most watched category on the Black and Orange YouTube, with over 109,000 videos. Genshin Impact, Overwatch, Fortnite, even Minecraft. All of them are among the top trending tags. Cute faces, crazy plots, perfect bodies. At first glance, it looks like just another fetish. But dig a little deeper and you uncover an entire layer of modern mythology. Imaginary idols, cultural phenomena, scandals, and potentially shifts in how people think and feel. At its core, hentai is where two worlds collide. The highly stylized world of Japanese visual art, anime and manga, and the world of pornography. Tracking the origins of manga is tricky. Even scholars still argue about where it actually begins. Today, when we say manga, we're talking about more than just comics. It's a distinct visual language. Giant eyes, exaggerated expressions, dynamic paneling, sound effects, everything that makes Japanese manga visually and emotionally different from, let's say, American comic books. There are even subcategories by region: manga, Japan; manhwa, Korea; manhwa, China, each with its own stylistic quirks. And style evolves with time. How things are drawn, what stories are told, and where they're published. But one thing stays constant: the essence. Pictures that tell a story. By that definition, some of the earliest examples go all the way back to the 8th century, when monks and temple workers were sketching cartoonish scenes on the wooden beams of the Horyuji temple, yet way before the printing press. And that brings us to eroticism. Why wouldn't comics touch on sex when it's such a fundamental part of life? Literature, painting, cinema, they've all been doing it for centuries. Manga just followed suit. When we start talking about hentai manga, one question comes up fast. What do we mean by hentai? In Japan, the word hentai literally means perversion, and it's used to describe deviant sexual content. But in the West, it's used more broadly. Any sexually explicit anime or manga falls under the hentai umbrella. And even there, it's not so simple. What counts as sexual content? Suggestive poses? A flash of lingerie? Or graphic sex scenes, genitals and all? Here's the catch. In Japan, Article 175 of the Penal Code prohibits explicit depictions of genitalia. So artists had to get creative. Censorship bars, cutaway shots, and heavy use of implication. The sex is happening, just not shown. What emerged is a visual grammar unique to hentai manga, a way to build arousal without showing the act itself. The line between erotica and pornography got blurry, and hentai settled right on that edge, where artistic expression meets legal loopholes and psychological gray zones. In the West, hentai is seen differently. It's almost always explicitly sexual, and more often than not, far from vanilla. Fetishes, taboos, uninhibited fantasy, it's a space where anything goes. Since the mid-90s, it's become normal for hentai to explore more extreme, more graphic, and more unapologetically bizarre expressions of sexuality, things that would never fly in mainstream type of content. So, what harm can a cartoon tentacle doing cartoon things to a cartoon woman really cause? Turns out, quite a bit. Porn isn't just entertainment anymore. It's a cultural issue. It's debated in parliaments, on academic panels, and right now, on YouTube. Scientists, psychologists, and sociologists are all asking, what effect does porn have on us? How does it shape our thinking? What does it do to our understanding of sex, consent, and what's normal? And hentai. It's not just part of that discussion, it's the extreme edge of it. Over the past 20 years, porn has gotten rougher. The stories more violent. The content more provocative. Why? Because the audience builds tolerance. What turned people on 20 years ago barely registers today, so the content escalates, like sugar, caffeine, or adrenaline. More intensity, just to feel the same thing. From a scientific standpoint, this isn't just speculation. It's serious. Research has shown that consuming porn, especially aggressive or violent, can be a risk factor linked to increased sexual aggression, particularly against women. The World Health Organization defines sexual violence as any sexual act, attempt to obtain a sexual act, or other acts directed against a person's sexuality using coercion, regardless of the relationship to the victim. That means it doesn't matter whether it's a stranger, a partner, or even content on a screen. Studies have shown that exposure to extreme pornography can actually change how we think and react, emotionally, behaviorally. In one experiment, men and women were shown videos with violent sexual content. The results? Men responded more positively than women. And more disturbingly, their pupils, a reliable measure of arousal, adapted. That means, on a biological level, their bodies were beginning to accept what they saw as normal. Other studies go further. Regular exposure to violent porn can cause desensitization, basically emotional numbness, and that leads to higher tolerance for violence, especially sexual. So yeah, watching those animated tentacles might feel harmless, but over time, without you even noticing, your brain could become more accepting of violence. And maybe, not just violence. Ever notice how many hentai characters look suspiciously young? Aside from the oversized breasts, of course. It's not a coincidence. Hentai is a subgenre of cartoons, and cartoons by default were originally made for kids. That influence never fully disappears. Animated characters often look youthful, childlike. And when those characters are put into explicit sexual scenarios, we cross into deeply troubling territory. According to research from multiple sources, watching adult content that features underage-looking characters is linked to increased tolerance toward pedophilic behavior. More than 40% of men who consumed such content on the dark web admitted that they had actively tried to make contact with real children. And that's one thing when it's viewed by adults with relatively stable mental health. But it's an entirely different story when the viewers are kids and teenagers themselves. In that case, the risks include misinterpreting what they see, especially harmful for girls, who are more likely to internalize the distorted sexual dynamics. Girls who consume porn, and particularly hentai, are at higher risk of developing low self-esteem and a skewed understanding of what female sexuality should look like. And let's not forget, even Pornhub itself recognizes the danger. Search for lolicon or loli, and you'll be met with a bold warning. Your search may include illegal and abusive sexual content involving minors. Do not cross the line from legal adult content into illegal material. Then it adds, if you're concerned about your sexual thoughts involving minors, you're not alone. And links users to a helpline. Yes, you heard that right. The porn site itself is directing viewers to mental health resources. That alone says a lot about the connection between hentai and psychological risk. So if hentai is so problematic, so disturbing, so ethically broken, why is it so widespread? One word: profit. Where there's demand, there's supply. Even though a lot of hentai is shared on free platforms, the industry still earns an estimated $350 million a year. Just take a look at the business model of Pornhub, the biggest name in the game. Most of the content is free, sure, but the real money comes from premium subscriptions. Hentai ensures that today's kids grow up to be tomorrow's paying customers. And that's not all. Pornhub and similar sites make additional income from ads, pop-ups, and banner placements. More viewers, more revenue, no matter how old the viewers are. And when it comes to chasing money, there's no limit to what they'll turn into content. If the audience doesn't have a star, they'll just invent one. Meet Projekt Melody, an anime-style, big-breasted virtual cam girl with a teen face. Yes, she's entirely fictional. Yes, she's wildly popular. She streams adult content live on webcam sites, sells porn on OnlyFans, and has a massive following on YouTube and TikTok. Platforms packed with teens and younger kids. Projekt Melody isn't just a character, she's a product, a fetishized, digitized version of a Japanese girl, crafted to appeal to very specific fantasies. And she's doing numbers. That's what hentai is at its core today, an industry built on monetizing human weakness. Behind the cute faces and absurd storylines is a machine that shapes opinions, affects mental health, and rewrites our moral norms, often without us even realizing. So yeah, be warned, stay sharp. Don't let industries shape your worldview for you.